This is a global university of choice, a university of what ifs and what next, an ambitious university of anything is possible, an outstanding university of teaching excellence and applied research, of aiming high and raising the bar. This is a university of big ideas, an applied university of today and for tomorrow, a university of making a difference and making your mark. This is the University of Derby. What will you make of it?
Hello and welcome to the University of Derby. It is fantastic to meet you. My name's Ellie Sample. I'm going to be your host today, and with me is my co-host, Basit Siddiqui.
Thank you so much for having me. Lovely to meet you all. Hello.
Now, you probably know Basit from Gogglebox, but I know him as one of our amazing alumni. What did you study again, Basit?
So I studied business and information systems many years ago. It's been a good while ago that I studied that. But yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. So obviously, it was years ago I was at the university, but I'm still involved in a lot of the stuff that the university do because I'm part of the alumni board, the University Derby alumni board, which is essentially once you're part of the university, you're part of it forever. So we're hoping that you get a real flavour from today about what the university is about, and hopefully we'll see you on the alumni board at some point as well. Now, in terms of what I do today, all those experiences through university, I've set up my own education consultancy business linked to business and information systems. However, the reason I'm here is because I'm an absolute passionate educator. And today really isn't about me, it's about all of you, and I'm sure you're really excited to explore the university through this amazing virtual world and find out a bit more about it.
And there are loads of people who are on campus, because there is an on-campus open day going on.
There is.
And the reason I'm holding this,
I've just realised, yeah, where you're going with this, yeah.
is because everyone who's arriving is being given a donut.
They are.
And a cup of coffee, and also,
drum roll please.
Drum roll please, we're going to do some unboxing here.
Unbagging,
Live
unbagging, yeah. Ooh, look. So yeah, those of you who are joining us on campus today, you'll get one of our goodie bags. So shall we see what's inside the goodie bag?
Oh gosh, please do, Basit.
Right, fantastic. So we have got, I'm going to try and do these in order of excitement. The University of Derby prospectus. Ooh!
That's beautiful.
That is nice, isn't it? Fantastic. Now, more importantly, though, inside this as well is the open day guide. So obviously, if you've got any questions or places that you want to go to, please do check it out. Now,
that's only if you're here in person.
Here in person.
If you're not here in person, at the Top 20 University for Student Satisfaction in the UK, which is also in the most beautiful location in the world, then you can still ask us questions. And you can ask us questions by scanning the QR code. Is that right, Basit?
That's absolutely right. So once you scan that QR code, that should be on your screen right now, you'll be taken to a platform, and then you can find out a little bit more information. But more importantly, you can ask some questions as well.
And we really want your questions, whatever they're on. You can ask us anything. We've got experts joining us today, so we're going to try and recreate the experience that those thousands of people on campus are having right now, right here for 1 hour. You're live with us. We're going to have experts from our Students' Union who are going to be talking about student welfare, so the student experience. We're going to have someone from our accommodation team who will be answering all of your accommodation questions. And most excitingly, we've got a real live student to talk to us.
Definitely. Yeah, fantastic. We really wanted to make sure that you all get a fantastic experience from this. So whilst we've got that in mind, shall we have a look at what the University of Derby has to offer? Shall we look at a little video?
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Every time I watch that video, I get absolute goosebumps because that's just a snippet of what the University of Derby is about. And I know that I'm a little bit biased when it comes to it because I am Derby born and bred, went to the university itself. But there is so much that the university itself offers. And to be honest, there's so much that the city of Derby offers as well. So obviously, well, I say obviously because I'm really used to it, there are so many amazing different bits and pieces about the city itself, whether you want to socialize with people, whether you want to go out exploring, there is a lot for everyone to do. And when anyone asks me about Derby, I don't know about yourself, Ellie, I kind of always refer to it as kind of this Goldilocks zone where it's got the best of both worlds. It's in the middle of the country,
right in the heart,
slap bang in the middle. And there are some amazing things, but it's a nice small city. But I think the most important thing is that it's not too far from some of the bigger cities as well. So obviously you've got Nottingham, you've got Leicester, but you've also got a 2-hour trip away from London as well if you wanted to go out exploring. And I think it's about 90 minutes, about an hour and a half to Manchester as well. So there is really a lot of opportunities in terms of that. And
although there's no way you'd want to go to London and Manchester, not when you've got Derby, the city here, and you've got the Peak District just 5 minutes away in that direction.
100%. And I think that's so important because when it comes to your well-being and your health and just getting out into nature, the Peak District is amazing as well. So, yeah, there are loads of amazing things about the university and Derby itself.
And what's your favourite thing to do in Derby or Derbyshire?
Oh, wow. God, that is a very good question. And if I'm honest with you, if you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, I wouldn't be too sure how to answer that. But luckily enough, a few weeks ago, me and my family went to something known as Wingfest, where you go and eat lots of chicken wings. However, it's the place that we went to. So in Derby, just on the outside of the city centre, is a place called Bustler's Market, and they've got a lovely little food venue there. So it's a fantastic place to kind of socialise, but also just get a little bit of, if you're a bit of a foodie and you like your food as well, that's a perfect place to go. So I don't know whether it's because we were getting pretty close to lunchtime, and that's why I've mentioned that, but for me, that's kind of at the top of my list at this moment. How about yourself?
Well, I have to say, before we move on, the food in Derbyshire is amazing. I mean, even our towns are named after foodstuffs, aren't they? So, like Bakewell for Bakewell pudding.
Absolutely.
It is amazing. But I love being outdoors. I love taking my dog for a walk. I took my dog for a walk around Cryche and Matlock the other day, and I saw 2 deer and I saw an eagle, a real eagle.
A real eagle?
It was in a tree.
Fantastic.
It was amazing.
Did he give you a dirty look at it? Were you a bit nervous, or was it okay?
No, I was really excited. I love wildlife, and if you like walking and you like outdoor extreme sports, you'll just be amazed. You're in the centre of the UK, and there's so much that you can see. You can get up to Edinburgh quite quickly and quite easily, or you can get down to London, or you can go into a city that's beautiful, just absolutely stunning.
100%, and that's the beauty of being slap bang in the middle of the country, I think, which is absolutely fantastic.
And there's a real sense of community in the city, but also here at the university, where academically there's a strong community that's centred around the student experience. Because what was your experience as a student here, Bassett?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lovely question. So for me, it's quite a funny one because obviously I've lived in Derby my whole life. So it was me who was kind of showing other people who were new to the city kind of where the places to go and all those. And for me, it was kind of nice to just celebrate that side of it as well, the social aspects of it. But I think as Derby's growing as a city, it's not necessarily all about going out and on your nights out and everything. There's that element of culture as well. Slap bang in the centre, the city centre. There's loads of different experiences to go to as well. But yeah, when I was back in the day, yeah, 100%, it was kind of like going out, socialising, all those bits and pieces.
But although you said it was a while ago, you studied business and management, and have you used that?
In terms of the work that I do, yeah, I run my...
Or are you just a Gogglebox star?
No, God, no. And if I'm honest with you, it's kind of the education stuff that I absolutely love, because I run my own education business now with links to digital technology. And it's fantastic that it's kind of come full circle, all of those experiences that I got from the university. And it's not necessarily the skill set, and so it's not necessarily the degree itself, but although that does play a part because it's that qualification, it's the skills, it's the transferable skills that you pick up on it as well, which I think are really, really important when it comes to the people that you meet and the skill set that you develop as well.
Because university should give you a toolbox of skills and knowledge that you can apply
Definitely.
in any career, because obviously the technology that we experience today, you know, being able to do this, you couldn't possibly have done 3 years ago.
No.
So in 3 years' time, the reality then will be totally different. It will be flying cars, holograms, and goodness knows what else.
Absolutely, yeah. But at the heart of it is those skills that you learn, those research skills, those communication skills, those networking skills. They're massive. And I've been fortunate enough to do quite a lot with the university as well, and I've heard from all the different lecturers that I know you're going to talk to shortly as well. And the passion that they show and the knowledge that they show and that the students get from that, that is such a worthwhile experience and a worthwhile opportunity as well.
It does make Derby very unique. And before we move on too far, I'm going to test your knowledge as a local lad on Derbyshire and Derby.
This wasn't in the script. Are you? You're throwing this at me now, aren't you? Go on then.
I am, I
Right.
am. Can you name 5 famous people or things that come from Derby or Derbyshire?
Ooh, that's a good question. That is. Right. Okay. Right. Who's that Lindsay guy? What was his name?
Robert Lindsay.
Robert Lindsay. Yeah. Citizen Smith. was
Citizen
that?
Smith,
That's for all the
well
older
done.
people listening, to be honest.
For the mums.
For the mums. Yeah. We've got Timothy. What was it? 007. Timothy Dalton. Was it?
Oh, you're good at this. You're good.
Yeah.
You know your Derbyshire people.
I'm going to struggle now. You've jinxed it now. Now, I know this person isn't necessarily a person, but she's massive. She's iconic. Lara Croft. Tomb
Lara
Raider.
Croft. I want to be Lara Croft.
I do too. And I
Yes.
think I could do it. I think I could do. How many is that? That's 3, isn't it?
3.
3. Now, apparently, rumour has it, Jason Statham has links to Derby. So we'll go with that. He's a Derby local person.
I have
sure.
to say, he's not in my good books, though. I did write to Jason Statham yesterday and say, would you be on our live stream and be interviewed by Bassett Siddiqui? And
No.
nothing.
Nothing.
Ignored me.
Too busy talking to The
Ghosted.
Rock, isn't he? Yeah. Did you try Dwayne Johnson instead? Or you
He's
might have
not
got
from
better luck?
Derby.
Oh, yeah. Valid point.
No,
point,
it's worth a try,
fantastic.
though. Maybe I'll try him next time. No, so well done. Any other famous people from Derbyshire?
Oh, God. Can I say my family? Or is that
Oh,
a bit
yes.
big-headed?
We
Yeah.
have to mention your dad because he's an alumnus of the University of Derby as well.
He is, yeah, and it was you that drew my attention to that last time I was here, and we had a bit of a chat about it, and him and myself were actually at a campus, a similar campus, because the University of Derby, and obviously if you come here or you check out the stuff, it looks massive, there's so much going on, but kind of one of the places where it started was a little place called Mickleover and a little campus there. That's no longer there, but me and Dad were both there at the time, and Dad did his engineering degree there as well. So, yeah, it's nice that we've got 2 Siddiquis who are part of the University of Derby alumni.
The family. You are the family. What about your brothers? Can we expect them
We'll
to be
try and
doing
get
it?
them on board,
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, yeah, they've got to sort themselves out, to be honest, but we'll get them there.
That sounds brilliant. That does sound brilliant. And I am going to let you have Lara Croft, even though that was a bit of a cheat. It was also the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution,
It
which, you know, so many great things have come out of Derbyshire. Joseph Wright, Industrial Revolution.
I have one more fact. People get sick of me saying this fact, but I can't not say it.
Say it.
So if you Google, and if you are on the internet, feel free to Google this now, but also make sure your questions keep coming in through the QR code. If you Google most secure locations in the world, you've got Fort Knox, you've got the World Reserve Bank, you've got the Pentagon, and then a little lower on the list, it has gone out of the top 10 now, but it's still there,
Oh.
is a car park in the middle of Derby called Bold Lane Car Park. And I'm not talking about the most secure car park, which it is. I'm talking about one of the most secure locations in the world. So if you want to feel safe, that's one hell of a reason to come to the University of Derby, Bold Lane Car Park. Did you know that one?
I had no idea.
I haven't made it up.
I am
The way you're
gonna
looking
go
at me
and
right now, you're like,
visit.
this guy's made this up, but
I think
promise
he
you.
has made it up. I do. We'll Google it later. I could talk to you like this all day, Bassett. You are the best person I know. Thank you so much. But we're going to find out a little bit about research here at the University of Derby. And we do have some astounding research going on, impacting on climate change, zero carbon, battery, and business. So we'll be finding out a little bit more about that. But for now, Bassett, goodbye, and roll Research VT.
Research is changing the way we see and understand things. At Derby, you will be taught by leading researchers. Their groundbreaking findings not only have real-world impact, but inform your curriculum, giving you the most up-to-date teaching in your subject area. There are so many opportunities to get involved in research, such as attending conferences, being part of a research experiment, or conducting your own research project. The skills and knowledge you gain through experience and research will allow you to shine and stand out in job interviews. We are at the forefront of discoveries. Quite simply, research never stands still, and neither does the University of Derby.
The research being undertaken here at the University of Derby is changing the world, and in some really innovative and exciting ways. And what makes Derby really unique is the way that our undergraduate and postgraduate students get directly involved in that research and play a part in it. So our students are creating new knowledge and being part of working with world-leading academics. And as I say that, I'm incredibly proud to tell you that I'm joined by one of those world-leading academics, our Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Business, Law and Social Sciences, Camille. I'll let you introduce yourself, Professor.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Thank you for having me. I'm Camille Omotesho, Professor of Accounting, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Dean for the College of Business, Law and Social Sciences. I've been at the university for the past 5 years. Very exciting, new development coming up, and fantastic lecturers to work with.
You are one of my favourite people here at the university, Camille.
Thank you.
Never stop smiling, no matter what is going on, no matter what is facing us. Camille will always bring a smile and a jolly face to whatever is going on. But in addition to that, your research into governance, accounting, banking systems is quite unique.
Yeah, thank you, Ellie. Yeah, Professor for Accounting and Governance. My specialism in that sphere relates to corporate accounting, corporate responsibility, corporate governance, ethics. So, everything around that central theme of governance and the intersection between human and businesses. Yeah.
Because we talked about that a little bit earlier, and I was asking you what you thought the really key issues in business were at the moment.
Yeah, the key issue is about balancing the profit drive with humanity. I will use that terminology. So doing that with considering the interest of people, of the environment, as well as professional ethics that actually sit behind all this, is the absence of the latter that is actually giving us problem globally, really, not just in the corporate world, even in leading countries, etc. So it's really, really important that we train leaders as academics or future leaders in a way that they do not relegate ethics to the background.
So in a way, what's unique about our business school is that it's ethical. It's about doing good business. Would you say that's true?
Yes, I would say that is true. Every sphere, whether it's marketing, whether it's HRM, whether it is finance, we ensure that that underpins everything we do. So, and we give our students the skill set for them to thrive in anything they choose to do in the future, whether they want to work for professional practices, they want to work for big conglomerates, they want to work for SMEs, or they want to be entrepreneurs to own their own businesses. The underlying spirit will be, it's not just I, me, and myself. It is I am because others are.
That is really brilliant. And I think that's underpinned by your research, and we'll stick with research for a minute, because as well as the amazing research that you do and you lead in our business and law and social sciences, we're also renowned for our work in solar power, zero carbon and energy creation. And Professor Chris Sansom is someone who's world renowned for his work in that sphere. And I think it's really exciting, some of the things that are going on there.
Yeah, it is really exciting. And the one you've mentioned, net zero carbon, is one of the 6 universities' academic themes, what we want to be known for. And although Professor Samson leads on that, he has behind him a whole sort of individuals, researchers that work in that area. And it's not just about the science of it, it's not just about the technology side of it, it's about the whole structure. For example, we have people from the business school who look into the business model that sits behind net zero carbon and how organizations, whether SMEs or big organizations, can actually join the race in ensuring we have a sustainable future. So it's a theme that we are proud of as an institution.
I know you've had a 6-year decarbonise project, which has saved something like 32 million tonnes of carbon.
Correct.
That's astounding, and I think the financial impact of that was significant as well for the businesses who took part.
Yes, and then on top of that, businesses have now come to the realization that that's the future, that's the direction of travel. Unless they do something about it, it's not just, even the profit motive will be affected. So it's a win-win for the government, for the people, for businesses. So, and that is one aspect of that project that I'm most proud of.
And this is why we're in the top 2% of universities in the world for our researchers in the business school.
Correct. We have this metrics that is released once in 2 years about the top 2% researchers globally. And we are really proud as an institution, as well as a business school, to have some of our professors being in that 2%, top 2% bracket. I'll give you examples in economics, in small business finance, and in supply chain. We have, and the final one from the business school is tourism. So we have these top professors in that bracket, and they are not just top professors because they are churning out academic papers. No, they are top professors because they are influencing businesses, they are influencing government policies, even at the global UN level. And they bring all this to the classroom so that our students can actually have first-hand experience of their expertise, benefit from their knowledge, expertise, and they shape future leaders in that process.
I think that is what makes it really exciting, because lots of people say, well, why is research important in a university? And it's important when you're creating knowledge. You're not just learning by rote, you're actually a student involved in the creation of knowledge. And you might have seen our turtle, which is on a lot of our adverts, and the reason that the turtle is there is because of our aquatics team, who are doing some astounding research into conservation of coral reefs, and our undergraduate and postgraduate students are directly involved in that, working with Mike Sweet, our professor of aquatics. And we're the first people in the world who have actually reforested those corals, and the students are actually doing that.
Yeah, that was it's an interesting part of what we do at Derby, and I think I don't know if you attended Professor Sweet's inaugural. That was a completely different dimension to the aquatic kind of a research he and his colleagues are doing. And the most interesting part of it to me is he doesn't just speak to his own area of specialism. If you are from business, you can actually see the relevance in your area. If you are from core sciences, you can see. If you are from art and humanities. So this is what is wonderful about Derby. We don't do solo research in isolation. They speak to one another, and then you can see the whole thing being a kind of cross-fertilization and intersectionality in it. Yeah.
That's so exciting, isn't it? And obviously top 20 for student satisfaction in the UK. So a top 20 university, which I'm really proud of. We're the home of the Nuclear Skills Academy, so the Centre for Nuclear Knowledge in the UK. In terms of the business school, it's a fantastic business school. What can students at the business school expect?
Very many thanks, Helly. What they will expect is from day one, they are not coming into a business school where lecturers just talk at them or they are just theorizing. No, we have created a curriculum with industry input. Not just in the curriculum alone, we co-deliver. So, and then that's interaction between staff with professional background who have joined us, staff who are core researchers, and industry experts really form a whole, which is really, really important. So right from their first year, the experience will be unique. And we've invested in state-of-the-art facilities to use live data, for example, Bloomberg switched to use trading floor kind of activities, and they would do those activities in using real life data, using the expertise of our lecturers. So it's co-created, it's co-delivered, and that will be very unique.
So even if you're not thinking about your future career from day one, we are, and we're preparing you for it.
Yeah.
And you're investing in a new business school as well, Camille.
Yes. We are investing in a 75 million worth state-of-the-art building that should be ready early 2025. We've done the groundbreaking ceremony about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then all efforts are geared towards making that a reality. What will be unique about that is, number one, it's a net zero carbon building, first of its kind within the region. Also, while deciding the facilities in this building, we've actually consulted widely key stakeholders, students, prospective students, industry experts, people from professional practice, and our academic, so that it can be future fit. So we are looking forward to that in terms of facilities, in terms of technology, in terms of the teaching model that we are going to be using. So we are excited about it. And another major part of it is the opening of the building will coincide with our accreditations, which are in the pipeline. So we've had the Small Business Charter of the Chartered ABS, and that will last us for the next 5 years. We are now about embarking on the journey for EFMD and AACSB, and these are big accreditations for business schools, and they are global in nature. So everything is working towards the actualization of our dream business school, and we are all excited about it.
It is very much a global business school. It is incredibly international, and I know there are lots of international students watching. Why would an international student come to the University of Derby?
Talking from experience as an international student in the UK some few years ago, let's just say some few years ago, what international students will be looking for is a place that will really cater for their aspiration, where they want to be in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Will this institution support me in getting there? Which is really important. 2, would they feel comfortable in that space? And that's not just a learning space. It's about the city. It's about the people. And one unique thing I've found out about Derby since I joined Derby is we have fantastic people within the university. And in Derby generally, the people are good and the environment is very secure. So these are really deal breakers for international students. And Derby's population is actually very, very mixed. So you will find your own local cuisine, you will find your arts within the city, and you will have people you can easily connect with, and that makes a huge difference.
Making friends is so important.
It is.
And I'm proud that you're one of mine. So on that, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me, Camille. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. And in a moment, Bassett will be back, and he will be joined with one of our accommodation specialists. So do send your questions in, scan the QR code, send us your question, and let's find out a little bit more about living in the University of Derby.
Living with the University of Derby is amazing.
I'm close to town, I'm close to my lectures, I have great support in halls.
It's such a nice flat, it's so spacious.
It's such a positive experience because you do meet a lot of lifelong friends.
In a standard room you get a single bed, and next to it you get a lovely notice board, which I've mostly just used for pictures.
I have an absolutely unnatural obsession with dinosaurs.
So coming through here, the first thing you see is your bed. So it's a 3/4 size bed, and it has all underbed storage as well. I've got my weekly planner, which I've only just started to do today.
And the wardrobe itself is huge. It can fit all my clothes, and it's got some nice drawers at the bottom.
We've got the sink here, which is pretty handy for in the mornings.
It's really useful for brushing your teeth and washing your face in.
Most importantly to me, I've got my computer and my gaming setup.
You've got your desk chair, which can swivel, and then I've got my printer on here.
Halls itself offers really good internet, so it's ideal for gaming, and there's no sort of hidden costs or fees or anything for the internet. It's just flat out brilliant to begin with.
One of the great things about living in halls is I do not have to worry about paying for electric bills, heating bills or water bills because it's all included and I can relax.
We have Jack's room, and there's Jack playing on his game. Say hi, Jack. And then we have a nice large bathroom. It's absolutely enormous, as you can tell.
We've got the shower, racks for everyone to their shampoo and conditioner.
Here we've got the communal kitchen, the microwave, toaster, oven, massive fridge, and that's all you could really want in a kitchen. There's so much space in here.
So as you can see, there's loads and loads of cupboard space, which works out perfectly.
You're so close to all the shops and the shopping centres.
It's a nice little town to have a walk around. Plenty of old buildings, plenty of good, quaint little shops to have a look in as well. One thing I like to do when I'm shopping is make sure I've got a good idea of what it is I want to have that week, so that way I don't overspend and it helps me really stick to my budget.
I've just been to Tesco Express to do a really quick food shop, so I'm going to show you what I bought. So I got some toilet roll, some bread, sweet potatoes, some chicken, some avocados, strawberries, some fabric conditioner and some hummus as well. And that is my light food shop for the weekend.
I'm just on the way to uni because I have a volcanology lecture.
Each hall has a set of RAs. RAs are students who basically live in halls and also work in halls as well.
At the moment, I'm off to work. We're holding a cookery class in the common room because I'm a social rep, and we hold events for everyone in halls.
Can I eat the box?
No! Just about to go off snowboarding now with everyone from the Snow Sports Society, and I can't wait. Did you have fun?
A lot of fun.
So for me, Tuesday nights are esports nights when we compete, so halls is an ideal place because we've got high-speed internet.
I've just realised that there's a petting zoo outside, so let's go take a look.
Living with the University of Derby is great. You're close to town, you're close where your lectures are, you've got shopping just around the corner and you make great friends here.
It's so easy to socialise with everyone. It's such a central location. It's just so much fun.
I definitely would recommend it to anyone. It's a good experience for teaching you a bit of independence.
My experience living here has been amazing, and it's down to the staff and just the ease of living here. It's been amazing.
Welcome back, everyone. It was absolutely fantastic to hear from Kamil, and you could just sense the whole knowledge, understanding, and more important, passion that he has for the university itself, which was just so lovely to hear as well. And the new business school sounds amazing. So for those international schools who are looking to come, please keep your eye on that. You also saw a little video there as well, A Place Called Home, and that gave you an insight into what our students are saying about the University of Derby and the accommodation as well, and just the whole experience. So that segues nicely, really nicely, onto who we've got for my next guest. So I'm joined by Steve Ward, who heads up the accommodation team.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. What do you reckon to all of this? It looks quite fancy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's quite fancy, isn't it? Yeah. No, I told you this as well. I was trying to stifle a cough throughout the whole of the last bit, so I might cough through this.
That's absolutely fine. You did very well.
Thank you, thank you. Now, we've got quite a few questions that have already come through for yourself.
Yeah.
But again, if you've still got any questions about accommodation, I'm sure there will be many questions that you've got. Hopefully we'll answer quite a few of them. But if you did want to ask some questions, please do use that QR code, log onto the platform and ask your questions. So, Steve, are you ready for the first lot of questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic, brilliant. So, I'll try and ask you to expand on these a little bit more as well, but we'll see how they go. Now, this one's really important, I think, for the first one. Do you have halls available for people with different budgets? I think with everything that's happening at the moment, cost of living crisis, all of that time, people are very mindful of that. So in terms of the variance and the different types of budgets, can you give a bit more of an insight into that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we've got a range of rooms across a whole range of budgets. So they start from £115 a week and they go right up to our sort of premium en-suites at about sort of £50 more than that. And there's a whole range of sort of price points in between. So what we say to people is sort of go onto the website. If you're not able to make the open day, we've got 360-degree tours. Yeah, the thing is to go round, have a look at the rooms, look at the price of each of them, whether you're wanting to share bathroom facilities or have your own, and sort of make an informed decision around the best room for your budget.
Fantastic. So there is. It sounds like there is a lot of options there as well.
Absolutely.
And the 360 room, essentially, is that just an interactive guide that you?
Yeah. So if those of you who are able to come across to Derby to the open days, if you come here, you can come on our tours that we run on open days. But if you're unable to do that, you're able to get that experience on the website by going into each of the rooms and sort of panning round and seeing the facilities that are in those rooms.
Fantastic. Right, I'm going to do a bit of multitasking because I do want to check the Slido and see if we've got any new stuff coming in as well. Nothing at the moment, but we've still got a massive amount of questions. So, next question that a group of people asked: do we have to pay for heating and gas bills?
No, so you don't have to pay for any other bills here in Derby. So the price that we quote is all inclusive. That includes Wi-Fi, it includes gas, it includes electricity, any other sort of utility cost. Obviously those have gone up quite a lot in the last 12 months. We've not sort of passed those costs on to students. They're costs that we've absorbed as a business. So the price that you see is the only price that you pay for living in our halls.
I think that's fantastic, and I can imagine a lot of people feel a lot of reassurance from that as well, because it is that uncertainty, especially in the climate that we're in at the moment, that people are very nervous about.
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
once you've got that price, it is set.
Yeah, that doesn't change.
For that academic year.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Is there a good international community at halls? Because obviously the people that are listening right now, they are our international community, and I think that would be something that they'd be quite interested about, whether or not they're going to kind of be the only person there. What would you say about that in terms of
so we've got a great international community, not only in halls but across the university. So we encourage international students to come and live in the halls. It's the best way to experience the University of Derby. We've got a Residence Life programme which runs sort of free events for all students. We run sort of dedicated sort of events for international students and the wider community, helping people who are sort of new to the city and move here to sort of integrate into university life, integrate into life in the UK. So yeah, there's lots of stuff there for them.
Fantastic. And so could you just expand a little bit in terms of those additional enrichment experiences that they get through that. So what's it called?
Residence Life Programme.
Life
So
Programme,
yeah, we
yeah.
run a whole range of events. So we run sort of local events in our sort of common rooms and in the sort of local spaces in the area. So they range from sort of, you know, FIFA tournaments to sort of karaoke nights to sort of quizzes, whatever sort of people are asking us to do. And then they go up, we run local events to sort of the local social facilities, so whether that's laser tag, things like that. And it goes right up to sort of national events where we take students to London, we take them to places like Harry Potter World, Scarefest, Alton Towers, things like that. So the programme is purely for those people that live in halls, which is why we say to students that that's the best way to come in and sort of experience sort of those events and meet like-minded people.
Fantastic. And I think Ellie and Camille did a fantastic job of talking about the academic side, and naturally that is extremely important, and I think the University of Derby's credentials speak for themselves in terms of that. But when you're a parent, or when you're a young person, or you're looking after a young person, you want to know that they're getting that social aspect and that they're feeling like they're enjoying that time.
Yeah.
And do you feel that that is something that you see the community get value from as well?
Yeah, so we are actually the #1 university accommodation provider in the UK. So we are the holder of that from 2023. So that is an award that is a nationwide award that is ran through the results of the student satisfaction surveys that get taken across the country. So what that says is that our students that are living here in university halls here in Derby rate the experience that they're getting here better than any other student in any other university accommodation provider in the country. So from our perspective, that's a great endorsement for the sort of offer that we have here.
That's 100%. It's a job well done, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't
yeah.
ask for higher praise than that. And
Yeah.
I have to vouch for it as well, everyone. I have seen the accommodation and the halls in accommodation. I keep trying to get a room, but they just won't let me. No matter how many of these events I do, I still can't get a free room. It'll happen one day.
Maybe.
So we've got some questions, I believe, coming through. So, yeah, and it's nice to get these live ones through. So if anyone else has any more, please do ask. So, are you ready for these live ones?
I am, yeah.
Okay. So, what is accommodation at Derby like? Can a person live part-time, such as on a Monday to Friday? Will you only pay for school term, or do you also pay during the holidays?
So our contracts, we have different contracts. So they run either a 42-week contract or a 51-week contract.
Right.
So it's not a Monday to Friday contract, unfortunately. It's a 7-day contract, and that does sort of cover the time that you arrive in September, and it goes through to the end of your studies, and there's varying end dates depending on the course that you're on and when you're sort of required to be here till.
So it's course specific then, that the wiggle room, because you said there's 51 days.
Yeah. So some of our professional programs are sort of here year round, so they'll have longer contracts. So it's not course specific. The student makes the decision on the contract they want, but it's got that flexibility there if they require a different sort of length.
Brilliant. And is there flexibility there for them to kind of start and then change their mind a little later? So if they choose the 42, can they expand to the 51?
Yeah, it
Fantastic.
would change that for them.
And
Yeah.
I can imagine that does happen a little bit, because once you start to get your friendship groups and everything like that, then you do start to consider that.
Yeah. There's obviously people who sort of choose to stay with us over the summer. So we have some students that live with us, all year round because they stay in Derby for, like you say, for social purposes or work purposes and stuff. So
definitely,
yeah, you're able to do
which
that.
I
too.
think that's just such a lovely sign, because that's kind of getting that community side of it, isn't it? As well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so
thanks
much
for
having us. Now, please don't go anywhere, everyone, because we've got Ellie again with us shortly, and she'll be with a lovely guest who's going to talk about the student experience. So, we'll see you all very soon.
gravity only works in one direction, and it's not in your favour. Just remember, when you get knocked down, to get back up, all it takes is a little push.
Hi again. Every time I see that sports video, I have the urge to rugby tackle someone. It's really brilliant to be here, and I'm delighted to be joined by Charlotte Wisson. Charlotte, welcome to our wonderful studio. How are you?
I'm really great. Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's brilliant to have you. Tell us what you do here at the University of Derby.
So I've been working in the Student Engagement and Enhancement team here at the University of Derby. So that's a fantastic team here to help you when you first come to university, helping those new students, whether you're a home student or an international student.
So you provide all the support and welfare advice, whether it be for finding somewhere to live, having problems sort of making friends, or academic challenges, people come and see you?
Yeah, so that's right. So we offer a lot of support for students before they get here. So we put lots of information out on web pages. We also have a university induction before you get to university as well. And that's really beneficial because that gives you lots of the key information that you need to know about university before you get there.
And I guess the hardest thing that we all worry about is how do you make friends, Charlotte?
Yeah, lots of students worry about that when they come to university, but don't worry, we put on loads of events and activities over your first few weeks of university. So in September, so Saturday the 16th of September, we'll be running our Welcome Fest event again, and lots of our students attend that not knowing anybody at university, so come on your own. We'll organise lots of events and activities, so we zone that into different zones as well. So in our green zone, it's more of a lively space. We have outdoor games, you'll get a free food and drinks voucher, and then we have more mindful areas as well. So in our red zones, you can do some mindful colouring, just some quieter games, and our welcome heroes will be there as well. So our welcome heroes are our current students. They'll be dressed in bright pink so you can see them around the university, and they'll help you and help you link together with some other students who are like-minded to you.
Oh, that's amazing. That does sound really fantastic. So you actually really help people get to know people. A bit like Steve was saying earlier, you know, and the amazing community zones that they have in accommodation too. So is there any advice that you would give anyone thinking about coming here in September?
Yeah, so a few pieces of advice really. Try and make sure you read all the information before you get here. So I mentioned the university induction. You'll find that on your Blackboard, so your online learning environment when you start coming to university. Have a little look at the union's events and activities as well, because they'll put on a full programme of events during your first term at university. And particularly if you're an international student, start having to think now what you would like to do about travelling to the University of Derby as well. So we do put on offer some National Express bus vouchers.
Wow.
So you can get the bus from London Heathrow, Birmingham or Manchester, and we'll pay for your fees to get that bus. And have a think as well about where exactly you're going to stay as well. Try and get all of that things sorted, so when you get here you can very much just focus on meeting new people and having those introductions to your course.
So are there any things you can do apart from reading the website before you leave home to be ready to be a student?
Well, probably a good thing to do is trying to make sure that you can cook when you come to university. So they do offer some cooking classes when you do come to university as well, but make sure you're ready. Maybe try and practice cooking a good healthy meal for when you get here, and start to think about maybe a bit of a packing list as well, thinking about some of those key items that you'd like to bring with you when you come to university.
Yes, there are lots of things to think about. Bedding, saucepans, gosh, what else? What do you think your top tips are for someone?
I would make sure you've got your notepad ready. Make sure if you want to bring a laptop or an iPad or something like that, you've got that ready at university. But don't worry if you haven't got that technology either, because even in our library we have a laptop loan scheme, so you can come and take out a laptop for either a couple of weeks or just for a really short period of 4 hours.
And the library is fantastic, isn't it? It's really well equipped, so you don't need to buy books. Everything you need is here. And I know that a lot of the courses, Camilla and I were talking about this earlier, have got all of the field trips in the UK included in the course price. So, because obviously cost of living is a big issue for people at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And some of these field trips sound amazing. So I was speaking to some students very recently, and they've been off to Berlin as part of their course as well. So the university really does offer those opportunities to go and see the world a little bit further.
And some you do pay for, but I think the ones that are compulsory and are included in the course. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's all very much course basis. So maybe that's a question that you might want to ask kind of in your first few weeks of university.
Well, it's been really fabulous to me, Charlotte. Tell us what your favourite thing to do, for my last question, what's your favourite thing to do in Derbyshire?
My favourite thing to do in Derbyshire is to go and explore Derby Alley Mills. So it's right next to some of the parks. So Darley Park is next door. They've got a wonderful Spanish tapas restaurant there as well. So go and explore the local area around Derbyshire. I really recommend.
You are brilliant, Charlotte. You've given us brilliant advice. Thank you so very much. I'm going to say goodbye as you and your team go out to meet the hordes downstairs and welcome them all here. And next, Bassett is going to be joined by one of our current students, Joe, who will tell you a bit about what it's like to be a student here.
The University of Derby makes me feel empowered. They empowered me to break barriers and smash stereotypes.
Diverse. I feel like I'm part of a bigger community. And what I've learnt about my abilities and potential goes well beyond my degree.
Excitement. A transition that felt challenging to start, but led to excitement, built on my character and independence.
Passionate. A process of growth filled with fun, career opportunities, and beautiful people. A mixture of everything.
Independence. Derby has given me confidence and self-direction, allowing me to experience independence for the very first time.
Awakened to a world full of possibilities. Nothing is stopping us now.
Fantastic. Massive thank you to Ellie and Charlotte. And last but not least, when it comes to my last person to interview, we've got a university student here, Joe.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Joe, am I right in saying that you study international business?
That is correct, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. You're a year 3 student?
Third year, yes.
Fantastic. Third year, so it's all very real now, isn't it?
I know. I've finished everything now, so I'm just get ready to go out into the big, scary world.
Fantastic. Right. So, I'm sure that we've got loads of questions coming in, but we're going to try and keep this short and sweet in terms of the questions. Throughout this whole process, I can imagine that there's so many highs and some challenges as well. But if we focus on kind of the positives at the moment, like what do you feel has been the most positives from the course that you've studied?
I think the biggest positive from my course has probably been my placement year, which the university staff will help you find. They email you heaps upon heaps of opportunities which you just have to go out and grab. And also the real world application. I found, through this applying for jobs process and applying for placements process, everything that I've learned in my modules really does apply in interviews, and that's just helped me excel and grab so many more opportunities.
That's fantastic to hear, because it's one thing doing it in the lecture halls, but then putting it into practice is extremely important,
yes.
Isn't it? And what year is that then when you do the placement year? Where does that kind of sandwich in?
So you do that between your second and third year. So you start looking for it probably October, November in your second year.
Fantastic.
And then hopefully have an offer soonish.
Brilliant. And then I guess one of the main things is with that placement, and correct me if I'm wrong, is building those networks, those connections throughout it afterwards.
Yes.
And have you found that you managed to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had my old manager text me saying, "Oh, do you want to come back to the company for a bit?" That's
high praise indeed, isn't it?
When I saw it pop up, I just felt so overwhelmed. I was like, "Oh, he remembered me."
He remembered you, rightly so, and that's fantastic. So not to dwell on the negative side too much, but I think we have to keep this real as well. If you were going to give any advice or any support, because I can imagine it's not just been highs, what advice would you give to anyone who is starting to think about going to university and doing the course?
I would say just be open-minded. I took a gap year before coming to university because I truly didn't know if university was the course for me.
Right.
And then it was after, coming to these open days, engaging with the university, and even once I arrived, I realised that I just needed to, keep an open mind, not necessarily going on one viewpoint of, this is a situation. University is here to help you grow, learn and develop. And you know, if you're willing to, you know, accept that and really just embrace any opportunity given, I think university can really be what you make of it.
Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic way to finish on as well. An extremely wise young man, and I'm going to attribute a lot of that to the University of Derby. So, but obviously your lovely self as well. So hopefully you got some really useful ideas about the university itself there. Now, I'll be joining Ellie very shortly, and we'll be wrapping all of this up. I can't believe how fast it's gone. Again, if you've got any questions for us, there are those QR codes. Please do ask them there. I think we've got one more VT, but can I just say one last thank you to Joe? You've been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
This is a global university of choice, a university of what ifs and what next, an ambitious university of anything is possible, an outstanding university of teaching excellence and applied research, of aiming high and raising the bar. This is a university of big ideas, an applied university of today and for tomorrow, a university of making a difference and making your mark. This is the University of Derby. What will you make of it?
The time has flown by. What a day, what a morning. It's been fabulous. Bassett, you're amazing.
Oh, stop. All right, carry on.
You're really amazing.
No, honestly, it's been absolutely incredible. I just wanted to say one last thing. When it comes to the University of Derby and Derby itself, as you can see from all the guests that we've had, it is a hidden gem. There's some amazing stuff going on and some amazing statistics to shout about as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
I am so proud to work here at the University of Derby. It is the best university in the world, in my opinion. So please come and join us in September. Do come and visit us at an open day if you possibly can. Our next open day is on the 14th of October, so you can register, sign up now. If you can't make that date, we do one-to-one personal guided tours, which you can join us on. Just get in touch with the team and register to come.
Fantastic. And obviously, after this event, if you've got any questions that you think of, there is an email address, study@derby.ac.uk. I'll say it one more time, study@derby.ac.uk.
Email us, let us know what you think. I want to thank Bassett and all of our wonderful studio guests for joining us here today, and the amazing team who has made this event possible. It's just been absolutely brilliant. I'm really grateful, though, most of all to you for joining us and spending your time with us this morning. So from me, it's a huge thank you, a warm goodbye, and hopefully a warm welcome for next year when you join us here on campus.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and thank you for joining us.